Okay, so this is lecture 1 for the preparation for the state examination course. There are some new features that we have now available that will come in very handy that we're going to be discussing now. I see that there are only 6 people joining. There should be a lot more. So if you're watching this at a different time, then pay attention to these features, because you can only really take full advantage of these features if you attend this lecture live. The first thing that you're going to notice, or that you probably notice, is that right above the player you have a blue button that says monitoring. That blue button that says monitoring is basically a button that is for let me see here. It's for those of you who, 1 second please. So we need to cancel this, so I'm going to stop this. So give me just 1 second. Okay, so just give me 1 second. I set this up. This is a new system. But basically, what this does is that this gives us give you the opportunity to be monitored while you are actually practicing during these lectures. And that's actually a very good thing, because if you look at it, it will allow me to monitor you. And that's good, particularly now that you're going to be taking your state examination. So I'm opening that. So what you could do is, when I tell you, you could click on, you can do that right now. Just give me 1 second. Okay. So let's see, here we go. Okay, so if you click on it, and I invite you to do that, where it says monitoring, when you click on it, it's going to open another page, another tab, and then it's going to open like a Zoom meeting type of thing, and you have to download the application for it. And then at one point it's going to ask you whether you want to join with computer audio. Make sure you do click on that. And once you do this, you're going to be placed in a waiting room, meaning that you're going to see a message that says the proctors will admit you momentarily or something like that. You will not be admitted at this point. You're going to be staying there in that waiting room. You'll be staying there until I basically decide who I'm going to be monitoring during the session. So the way that it works is that you sign into that Zoom, you wait, you stay in the waiting room. When the practices start, I will randomly pull different people to monitor and to give some feedback. Then I will record your performance. Okay, you'll be able to, you don't have to have the video on, but the mic should be on at all times. So I will record your performance, and once I record your performance, then I will make some comments as to how you perform, how well you did, and what things need to be corrected. And then after that, I will be getting a link for you to access. It takes up to 72 hours to get that link, so you have to be a little bit patient. But I can tell you that by the end of Tuesday, or even earlier, depending on how fast this is processed, then you will receive from me the link to actually watch that performance with my comments and so on and so forth. So anybody who accesses, in order to pass this course, you're going to have to be monitored at least 2 to 3 times during this 10-week period. So if you are not monitored for that period of time, then you're not going to be able to pass the course. To be monitored, you have to access. And to access, you have to be live. You can be watching this lecture a week later or 3 days later. Now, the other interesting thing here is that there is going to be like a final examination here and in this class, and we're going to have a final examination that it is an oral examination and then a written examination. So this class, which used to be pass-fail, is no longer pass-fail. It's going to be with a grade. And the grade will be based on your interpreting skills and on your written skills in terms of the material that we have been studying throughout this whole program. So we're changing this a lot so that you have the opportunity to be monitored by your instructor. So when you receive your link, where you can see yourself, listen to yourself, to your interpretation, and then my interpretation, or my feedback, I should say. You may have questions. If that's the case, just send me an email. We may have I may have an office hour sometime during the week. I will announce it next week or the week after. And you also have access to the live sessions. Those live sessions that you had access to up to now, you also have access right now, and you can do that. So I'm going to tell you what the live sessions are, what dates and times, so that you can you can take notes of it, because when you access the site, you probably notice that there was nothing has been indicated yet in terms of what time, what dates the live sessions will be held. That is going to be that's going to change by Monday. But let me just tell you what the live sessions are. So the live sessions. Let's see if I can write this. All right. Let's see. Okay, let's see if there's a question here. Hello. Yeah, when you click on it, it should take you to Zoom, yes. So the live sessions, let's see. Live sessions will be Mondays, and it starts this Monday, 1/17/22, between 4 p.m. and 6 p.m. And Saturdays, this one is kind of problematic because it coincides with your class, starts on 1/22/22, between 1 p.m. and 3 p.m. unless you access at 1 p.m. So those are going to be the live sessions, okay? Will all the previous lectures to date be available to Ogre for review? Not from the previous courses, but you will have access to your lectures for as we progress here in this course. When you are in lecture 5, you will have access to lectures 1, 2, 3, and 4. But we don't have access. You don't have access to the lectures. You do have access to the labs though, but not to the lectures. So going back to that monitoring, I don't see anybody actually signing in. So please click on where it says monitoring. So I need to have you signed in here so that you're going to get credit also for being in the class. Okay, so don't worry about anything that has to do with if you might be concerned that you may not do that well. I'm not going to grade you. I just want to monitor you and give you some feedback on your performance. And I see somebody coming in. Luz Elena Perez came in, so just wait in the waiting room, please. So that Sara Bruce, please wait in the waiting room, please. I'm not going to access you to see. You're not going to see me. You're not going to see anything. Just basically, you're going to be in the waiting room until I play a practice and I decide to monitor you and see how you are performing. There are only 2 students who access, but I know I have a lot more. I have a few more, so please go ahead and access so that I can do some monitoring and give you some feedback on your performance, okay? The idea in this class, the first thing that you're going to notice is that we do not have any class manual for this class, meaning that you don't have to study on a weekly basis. Nidia came in already, that's good. So there is nothing you're going to study on a weekly basis. It's all about spending the necessary time to do the practices and get ready for your state examination. That's kind of the bottom line, okay? But there is no practice that you need to do or study. I mean, practice, yes, but a lot of studying from manuals and things like that. So there is no class manual for this course. There's plenty of laboratory practices, and you also have access to the previous practices as well. And that, what I mean by the previous practices, I'm talking about the lab practices for the previous courses. Now we have Annelise coming in, Francisco coming in, Luz Elena, Moni S, Nidia, and Sarah Bruce. Okay, so if possible, make sure you name yourself according to the name that you use for this class, because sometimes you may have, sometimes people have different names, or someone else in the house use that, and then it will be very hard for me to identify who to send that link to. I don't, because I don't know you by face. I've never seen you, so in many cases. So if you can write your first and last name, or if you like, you can write just your email address. All you got to do is just rename yourself once you access, or you can go out and then come back and rename yourself. That will be perfect. But I can see that I know most of these. I know that Nidia, Moni S, so that should be no major problems here. The rest is all fine. So this is great. Everybody is on board with Zoom, so you will be monitored. Not everybody necessarily, but a good number of you will be monitored today on the practice that we're going to start working on pretty soon. But again, don't feel bad. This is not for a grade. There's nothing that's to do with a grade or anything like that. It's just basically this is just to be able to give you some feedback. And besides that, you have your lab to do the work, and you can also access your live sessions that are on the board right now, which on Monday you're going to be able to see as well when you access the site, okay? Jennifer, let's see, what about you? Let me see if Jennifer is in or not. I will take a look at it right now. I don't have Jennifer here, so you may want to... Oh, Francisco Jennifer Ramos. Yes, that's probably Jennifer, yes. Okay, so having said that, what is this class about? Let's take a look at what we're going to be doing. Well, the idea behind this class is for you to start, I'm going to be starting today with some simultaneous practices that you're familiar with. Then I can verify how you're doing, how you are performing, give you some feedback, kind of look at this as an assessment type of day for almost all of you. I may suggest some remedial seminars. And again, you may have to wait 2-3 days until you get the link, because it takes a little bit of time to actually for us to get the link, because we're pretty busy here. But it doesn't matter the time. 2-3 days is enough, maybe less than that. Should be sufficient. And then I may recommend to all of you to actually take some type of remedial seminar that is available in your site, or whatever the case is. Please note that when you go to your site, you're also going to have weeks 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 up to number 10, but you also have a written component. Written component is in the menu on the left side, is what gives you access to prepare yourself for the written component of your state examination. It basically consists of a free course for all of you, and basically that deals mainly with the written portion of your state examination. Then you have your online lab, which when you access the online lab, you'll be able to access the labs for the previous courses, plus the labs for here, which you have a lot of labs. You'll notice that the labs here are divided into simultaneous, consecutive, and site translation. We'll discuss today what you should do before we finish the session today. And you probably will not start with the lab for this course, but let me just see how you're doing in terms of monitoring you. And then you also have remedial seminars. Those are the seminars that I may recommend to some of you that will become very handy based on your performance today. And then it says live assessment, but that's basically the live session that we talk about. That's the session that you see on the board, which will be either on Monday. You can do that. You can attend that on Mondays or Saturdays. Mondays from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. or Saturdays from 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. We will, at the end of the session, we kind of put it all together so that you can, in an efficient way, take advantage of all these services that are available to all of you. I just want to warn you that this class is about practice all the time. So we do practice after practice after practice, and then we also learn some civil material and do practice with that civil material. We do some sight reading sometimes. We divide, some weeks we do some simultaneous, some weeks we do consecutives, and so on and so forth. We usually start with simultaneous in the first 2 weeks, and then move on to consecutive, and then to sight translation. The purpose of this class is to prepare you for your state examination. That's the main purpose of the class. So, having said that, we're going to have to begin with some simultaneous practices now. So, I'm going to be playing a practice which should be, I would assume it's something that you can handle. I'm not going to give you something very difficult. I want to evaluate your skills at a level that it is, more reasonable. Nothing is new. This is something that you have seen before, and basically, let's see where you are at. Now, how long is written component? The written component is not how long. I think it has 4 lectures. So you can do that at your own pace, but you will only have access to it while you are taking the course, okay? Or how long is the written component in the state exam? I think they give you 3-4 hours. And you have a lot of time to answer. It's not very difficult. It's all in English. It's very straightforward. We're also going to learn in this class how you're going to be graded and develop a strategy on how to take the exam in a way that you can maximize the number of points. Okay, so we're going to be doing that as well. Having said that, let's begin with some simultaneous practices. Okay, so we're going to do that right now. The practice is going to begin in about 45 seconds. Okay, so let's do some simultaneous practice. It's going to begin in 45 seconds. Thank you.
so that it is all over today. Do you understand that, sir?
Sí.
Mr. Alvarez, the Deputy District Attorney has conveyed an offer in your case. If you enter a guilty plea, the people will offer you a sentence of 365 days in county jail and a $500 restitution fine. You will be on formal probation for a period of 3 years. Probation means that you will have to report to a probation officer at least once per month to advise him of your whereabouts and to answer any questions that he may have. You must understand, sir, that you must comply with all the terms and conditions of your probation. If you do not comply with the terms and conditions of your probation, the judge can send you to state prison for up to 3 years. It is in your best interest to do what the judge tells you. If you feel that you cannot comply with the terms and conditions of your probation, please let me know so that I request straight time. However, if we are given straight time, you will probably have to serve at least 18 months in state prison. Do you want to take this offer, which includes formal probation?
La acepto.
Okay. The interpreter will read you a form. Please pay close attention, and once he is finished, please put your initials in the box and sign the form on the last page. If you have any questions, the interpreter will get me and I will answer them for you. After you finish this form, you will be taken to the courtroom. Once in the courtroom, the judge is going to read your constitutional rights and ask you, how do you plead? You will answer, no contest. If you do not understand any questions the judge asks you, please look at me. If I nod my head like this, then you say no. If I nod my head like that, then you say yes. Is that clear?
Sí.
Part 2. People versus Carlos Alvarez. Are you Mr. Carlos Alvarez?
Sí.
Your Honor, the people and the defense have agreed that Mr. Alvarez will spend 365 days in county jail and that he will be on formal probation for a period of 36 months. He will also have to pay a $500 restitution fine. Is that the recommendation of the people? Yes, Your Honor. What is the reason for the recommendation? Your Honor, the defendant is a first-time offender, and although the crime he committed is a serious crime, the people believe that he deserves to get formal probation and time in county jail. Although robbery is a 1, 2, 3 years in state prison, the prosecution decided to give him the lowest term. Furthermore, the defense and the prosecution agreed that this time should be served in county jail. As Your Honor knows, 365 days is the county lid, and it also corresponds to the low term for 211. Therefore, the people agreed to this plea bargaining provided that the defendant is placed on formal probation for a period of 36 months. Submitted, Your Honor. Mr. Alvarez, do you understand what these attorneys have said?
Sí.
Is that what you are prepared to do?
Sí.
Counsel, have you discussed with your client the elements of all the charges and the possible defenses that he may have? Yes, Your Honor. Have you explained the direct consequences that will result from a plea of guilty? Yes, Your Honor. Ms. Kim, please state the factual basis for the plea. Your Honor, the defendant admits to the commission of the crime as charged in count 1 of information number VA9 32028. Ms. Cejas, have the people accurately summarized their evidence? Yes, Your Honor. Do you wish to make any comments or amendments at this time? No, Your Honor. Ms. Cejas, do you stipulate that this is the factual basis for the plea? Yes, Your Honor. The potential term for the offense you are pleading guilty to is 1, 2, and 3 years in state prison. The understanding is that you will receive no more than 365 days in county jail at the outset. Do you understand?
Sí.
The understanding is that you will be committed to county jail for the low term of 1 year of 365 days. Once you complete the 365 days, you will be on formal probation for a period of 36 months. Do you understand that?
Sí.
Additionally, you are ordered to pay a $500 victim restitution fine. Do you understand that?
Sí.
Are you currently on probation or parole for any other criminal offense?
No.
If you were, do you understand that your probation or parole could be revoked as a result of your plea today, and that you can be sentenced on that case to the maximum term?
Sí.
You are further advised that the conditional plea we are discussing, namely the plea of guilty to count 1, will not be binding on the Superior Court judge whom you appear for sentencing. If that judge disapproves of the plea and conditions, you will be permitted to withdraw your plea of guilty. Your not guilty plea will be re-entered. All dismissed charges, if any, will be reinstated, and your case will be scheduled for a preliminary hearing. Do you understand?
Sí.
I have in my hand a form entitled Guilty Plea in Superior Court. Did you go over this form with your attorney and interpreter?
Sí.
The initials CA are on each of the pages of this form. Are those your initials?
Sí.
Did you place them in each of these boxes after the interpreter read this form to you and after understanding this form?
Sí.
And on the last page of this form, there is a signature that reads Carlos Alvarez. Is that your signature?
Sí.
Do you have any questions regarding this form?
No.
Before you can enter a plea of guilty, you must give up certain constitutional rights. You have the right to a preliminary hearing. Do you understand and give up that right?
Sí.
You also have the right to a jury trial. Do you understand and give up that right?
Sí.
Counsel, do you join in those waivers? Yes, Your Honor. The defense joins. Do the people join? Yes, Your Honor. The people join. Mr. Alvarez, you also have the right to see and hear the witnesses against you testify under oath, and through your attorney to question those witnesses. Do you understand and give up that right?
Sí.
You have the right to remain silent and not incriminate yourself.